Browns and Dolphins up next. So that means it's a perfect time to talk some SEC football with our guy Chris Gordy over at Locked On SEC. And Kai has Chris.
I mean, it's always a good time to talk SEC, right? Because there's a million players from the SEC that end up going to the NFL. We just saw two. Let's talk about Zamir White, Isaiah Spiller. What kind of impact can they have? We're seeing some running backs kind of go off the board now.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Zamir White from Georgia, I mean, he was a guy who's a hard runner. He was Georgia's leading rusher last year, almost 900 rush yards, 11 rushing touchdowns. You know, with that big loaded backfield that Georgia had, you know, I thought Zamir White was the most consistent. Now, James Cook, a lot of people like because, you know, obviously the bloodline there, and a lot of people think maybe he could look more like his brother. But I like Zamir White. I mean, he was such a force in running the football for Georgia last year. And then on the flip side, Isaiah Spiller. I mean, I really thought the Texans liked Isaiah Spiller. He, played at A&M just an hour up the road from the Houston Texans. I thought they were going to take him, but they ended up taking Dameon Pierce from Florida, another SEC guy, just a few picks ago. So, but a great pick for the Chargers. Isaiah Spiller, really hard-nosed runner. And then when he gets out in space, he can go. So really, I like these two picks. I thought these guys were going to be, gone before this. I thought Isaiah Spiller had a chance to go in the second round. And so seeing these guys fall to the fourth round and kind of having a run on SEC running backs here in the fourth round, I think Isaiah Spiller is a great fit for the Chargers. And again, Zamir White with the Raiders, them not picking up the fifth-year option on Josh Jacobs. I think maybe they see Zamir White as a guy who can fill that role down the road.
The SEC has so much talent. That's nothing new. Normally it's, Alabama players we're seeing a ton of. This year, Georgia is dominant. Obviously, there's a lot on that defense, almost the entire defense that's been drafted at this point. I want to touch on a little bit. We talked about Nakobe Dean yesterday. Obviously, he had a long fall. How serious are those injury concerns maybe? And then do you feel like this could be a steal where people are going to look back and be like, he was a great get?
Yeah, I mean, this happens all the time. There's some kind of medicals that start to, rumors and stuff start to come out. And, I heard there was a little concern for that shoulder. I didn't think it was that big of a deal from what I'd heard. But obviously, the teams speak for themselves when you see him start falling. And, he lasts all the way as far as he did yesterday, to the Eagles. I think it's a great fit for Nakobe Dean. But, yeah, time will tell. I mean, if he ends up hitting the road and there's nothing really to the shoulder and he's a tackling machine for the Eagles, it's the rest of the league's losses. So, it's just always interesting. We saw it with Malik Willis from Liberty. It's like, wait a minute, this is a guy that, my buddy Thor Nystrom at NBC Sports had him as the number one best player in this draft. Yet he lasts all the way to, to day two. It's just interesting how some of these guys, the medicals, there's maybe more to it than we're told.
Right.
And also I think some teams maybe, they value the medical opinions. Maybe they do their own, investigation and look into it and poke and prod, and they come away with their own takeaways.
Well, we'll see how that pans out. The SEC so dominant. Their kicker from LSU already just drafted, going off the board now. So
it's a good one.
Is it? Okay. SEC is, I don't know how I feel about kickers getting drafted, but I understand it.
Well,
I understand it.
Look at Cincinnati last year. I mean, they
True.
took a kicker in the middle rounds, and we were all like, what are they doing? And that kid ends up winning them every playoff game, gets them all the way to the Super Bowl. So, doubt the Cade York pick all you want, but I guarantee you Cade York is going to be a stud for the Cleveland Browns.
Another guarantee. I like it. A good point, too. I mean, if you have a great kicker, it can make the difference for your team, of course. What do you guys think on the couches?
Can I doubt it? Can I be the one that doubts it? I just think it's funny because the Browns are supposed to be this analytically forward-thinking team, and we just see time and time again the difference in kicker is not that big. And the last time a kicker was taken in the top